What's going on? I just want to take a minute and reach out to everybody and talk about a certain subject that came up the other morning, and I think people should know about it. Obviously, I don't work over in the United States. I work overseas, and I'm currently in Iraq, which is one of the countries that were on the list. And there's been a lot of discussion about the executive order. Obviously, in the United States, there's lots going on, and over here, there's a lot going on as well. Just a lot of things you all don't see. So, the other morning, we were having a discussion on the executive order, and a lot of the Iraqis obviously showed their displeasure in this executive order, and why they feel like they've been betrayed by the United States and so on. Now, I'm not here to get into a discussion with you about policies or this or that or anything like that. I just want to talk to you and make a comment about the discussion I actually had with these gentlemen. So I listened to what they had to say, and after they were done, yelling and screaming about their opinion on things, I asked a simple question, and I got an answer to that simple question. And I got it without hesitation. My simple question was, as an American, if I went out in town right now, would I be welcome? And they instantly said, absolutely not, you would not be welcome. And I said, okay, so what would happen if I went out in town? And they said, the locals would snatch me up and kill me within an hour. I'd be tortured first, and after they were done torturing me, I would probably be beheaded. It would, go on video for everybody to see as, an example. And so I already knew this was going to happen, but I wanted to hear it from them. And, the point I'm trying to make is, this is the local populace that would do this. This isn't ISIS. This isn't Al-Qaeda. This isn't the PMU. This isn't a militia from the Iranians or anything like that. This is the local populace that would do this. So my question to them was pretty simple then after that. If you would do this to me in your country, why would I let you in my country? Because all this means to me is that if you have the opportunity to take the life of an American, you would do it. So maybe that's something you all need to think about back there. If this is the way some of these cultures feel, this is the way that these countries feel about Americans, why would you be so naive to believe that if they came to the United States, they would do anything any different than what they would do right here in their own country? I don't know, man. Just trying to inform you about what's actually happening on the ground in one of the banned countries. Something you should probably think about. I can't go out in town here. Why should they go out in town in my country?
And the blowback now is they have created a refugee crisis that is destabilizing the countries in Europe. So when Mr. Trump said, we can't allow these Muslims, refugees, into America.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
We don't have the systems in place on the ground to collect the information to vet. That would be the concern.
Yes, I think that's the challenge we're all talking about, is that we can only query against that which we have collected.
You can't account for what you don't know, and that goes to the intelligence deficit that I think is embedded in your question.
We may have somebody who comes to us and is simply not on our radar for any discernible reason. And there may also be the possibility that somebody decides to do something bad after they've been admitted through the process.
Now, a lot of people were upset with him, but I know, sir, that the hatred for America in the Muslim world is building. As we told Mr. Bush, no Muslim leader could call for jihad and have it stick. No Muslim leader had the power to unite the whole Muslim world. I said, but America's policies will unite those people against the West, and it is happening. So in this way, Mr. Trump, I think, is wise to vet anyone coming from that area into America, because the hatred for America is in the streets now. So if those people are refugees and America feels I gotta let 10,000 of them in because America created the problem. Now, if you let them in and you don't vet them carefully, you might be letting in your own destruction.
On Friday, January 27th, 2017, President Trump issued an executive order suspending the Syrian refugee program and temporarily banning entries for people coming in from Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Syria. The backlash has been fierce, and public figures from around the world have voiced their outrage. On one hand, this is understandable, given the humanitarian implications. However, one has to ask, where was this outrage when the refugee crisis was being created? Where was the righteous indignation in 2011 when the Obama administration toppled the Libyan government? First by sending in the CIA to back rebel groups that ended up having direct ties to Al-Qaeda, and then using airstrikes to finish the job. Prior to this intervention, Libya had one of the highest standards of living of any country in Africa. They even had free healthcare. Today, the country is a failed state, plagued by ongoing violence. That's why these people are trying to escape. And where was the righteous indignation in 2012, when the U.S. began providing weapons, money, and training to rebel groups in Syria in an attempt to overthrow Assad? Even at the time, it was known that most of these weapons were ending up in the hands of jihadists. And it was no secret that these groups were committing horrific atrocities. Again, why do you think these people are trying to escape? And then there was Yemen, where the Obama administration quietly supported Saudi Arabia's bombing campaign for over a year, before finally getting their hands dirty and launching direct airstrikes in 2016. This warmongering continued till the very end. Here's a map of where the 26,171,000 bombs Obama dropped in just the last year of office fell. You know, it seems to me that the inhabitants of these countries would have preferred that you stand up against the wars that destroyed their homeland before and while it was happening, rather than take issue of where they are allowed to go in the aftermath. Just saying. None of this is a defense of Trump's order. It doesn't make any sense that Iran be included on the list, while Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Egypt get a free pass, especially considering that Saudi Arabia is the most prolific purveyor of Wahhabi extremism in the world. Unless, of course, you look at this through a geopolitical lens, which brings us back to the real crux of the issue: war. After 8 years of covering for Obama's foreign policy, the left already has a credibility problem. And the current strategy of throwing temper tantrums at Trump's each and every turn, which started before he took office, isn't helping. Inside your echo chamber, you might feel like revolutionaries, but from the outside, your selective outrage reeks of hypocrisy and lowbrow partisanship. You're also burning through your ammunition before the battles that are really going to count, like another war or an expansion of police state powers. Make no mistake, Trump is just getting warmed up.
Has continued, of course. The SAG Awards the other night, we've got those that are showing up on the red carpet because of Trump's, executive order, his immigration ban. They're showing up on the red carpet with signs saying, let them in. We got Ashton Kutcher standing on the stage saying that, this isn't his America and his America welcomes everyone. And, they really do think that they are the voice for, the humanitarian crisis. They think they're the voice of the everyday American. I think that they're very, very wrong.
Good evening, fellow SAG-AFTRA members and everyone at home and everyone in airports that belong in my America. You are a part of the fabric of who we are, and we love you and we welcome you.
This latest thing, I want to get your take on, the executive order and the immigration ban. But I think it's very, very interesting when I see folks like Ashton Kutcher who live in, gated communities with security. And, the biggest challenge in their life is when TMZ follows them a little too closely. Now, these are the same people that are saying, let them in, let them in. But I have a feeling they're not saying, let them into my Beverly Hills neighborhood.
Well, exactly. I mean, think about it. They love the people of Chicago, but they won't move there. They love the inner cities all over the world, but they don't move there. It's a sad situation that we're in when we have people who would decide to. I'm so sorry about that. It's a sad
You're
situation.
fine. You're a busy man. You're a busy man, Tommy.
I have several phones going off at once, but it's a sad situation that we're in when we have people who refuse to be honest about their situation, which is you are in a gated community. You are around people who you know and feel comfortable with, and you would not want everyone to come into your neighborhood, but you want America to let everyone into the country. Remember, neighborhood versus country.
Yeah, let's talk about the inner cities as well, because, I mentioned in my final thoughts, I don't think these refugees are going to be taken to Manhattan. I don't think they're going to be taken to Beverly Hills or any of the other areas where the star-studded elite live. They're probably going to be taken to areas in low-income housing, and that's where these refugees and others are going to be placed and resettled. So I wonder if these same folks that are marching down the streets or they're in the airports taking up space with their signs saying, let everyone in, America welcomes you. I wonder if they realize that it may be their very communities that the influx is going to come into. Is that concept lost on them, or do they actually want that?
The concept is lost on them. It's the equivalent of people in the inner city who say, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon until something happens. They call 911 and wonder why 911 hasn't made it there yet. These people are saying things that in essence they don't want. I just think this disruption is the order of the day amongst liberals. If we can disrupt someone else's freedom that we claim we fight for every day, then we've won, because the minority gets to speak for the majority at all times, and they see that this is something they don't want in their neighborhoods, but they know it's not going to affect them. Again, people who talk about gun bans are the same people with armed security around.